back to the official Sasquatch and Squirrel Show.
Yippee!
Woohoo! Today we're going to talk about just a couple of different topics. We're going to discuss Hamster Fight Club,
Yeah.
and then we're going to talk about which I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a 45-year-old man. I never thought that I'd ever utter the words Hamster Fight Club. But anyways, I digress.
We don't talk about Fight Club because there is no Fight Club.
Well, except there is. But anyway,
Maybe,
possibly. Plausible deniability. Anyways,
right.
and I think it does warrant a slight conversation about the president-elect's cabinet picks, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We'll talk about that. The fight last night.
Yeah.
Tyson and Paul. I didn't watch it and listen, I'm not gonna take a dump on Mike Tyson or that fight because I when it was announced, I'm like, oh, okay, publicity stunt, but whatever. And then so we're just gonna shoot the proverbial shit.
Guess I'll start it off with the whole fight thing. I watched it last night and I was just kind of at a loss. I don't know because, all right, here's the thing. Let's start off with the first fight. I know you didn't see any of the fight, but I'll kind of do my rendition of it.
Sure.
I think the first fight was a shit show.
Right.
And the reason why I say that, they got 6 rounds and they were kind of, I guess, beginners, but this one guy that was from India was being rude and disrespectful. And one thing I can't stand at all is these rude fighters that showboat and shit like that. I just can't stand that.
Fucking shit too.
Right. So the thing I think this guy should have been penalized on in a sanctioned fight, he backed this dude up in the corner of the ring and dry humped the shit out of him.
I mean, it's just a classless act, but also, and then to me that should have been from not watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like that would have at least been an admonishment from the referee, if not a point deduction.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. I mean, boxing, we all know it's a little fixed.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Now, what I'll say is the next fight.
It was the ladies, right?
No. That was the third fight. And which was very good I saw.
Right.
But the gentleman that fought after the first round or the first fight was phenomenal. I think I was rooting for the guy who actually won.
Mm-hmm.
But they both put on a hell of a show. They were both quick as shit. They both looked like, battered and bruised right after it. I thought it was a great fight, great performance by both fighters. Mm-hmm. I think it took the guy who lost a little bit of time to kind of get, in the groove a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the other guy probably needs to work on his cardio a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that was a really good fight. The women's fight, phenomenal. What I saw of it, because it wasn't like Netflix wasn't having any fucking problems at all. Oh, God damn.
Which doesn't make a stitch of sense. Because, I mean,
sure
I don't
does. Because they weren't fucking prepared.
One of my friends, they posted, am I on dial-up internet again?
Right. And that's what it felt like. Because, dude, literally every fucking few minutes, and right in the middle of where the women were fighting, you couldn't watch it because the fucking internet, it was like the internet would died or something like that. Or Netflix died. The servers were just fucking dead.
Your mom got on the phone while you were trying to use AOL.
I know, right? Can't even see good porn because mom got on the goddamn phone.
Way to go, Deborah.
Man, I remember those days so much.
Remember, you need to get off the phone, get off the internet so I can use the phone.
Or if somebody accidentally picked up the phone, or if somebody called in, and then you had to have these fucking filters on the phone where it wouldn't block, knock you off the internet.
Yeah, Jesus hates Jones.
Or
man.
Everybody got multiple fucking phone numbers for the house.
Right.
Oh, dude, I have a funny story about that. I'll go ahead and say it now.
Go ahead.
This is great. So, anytime that somebody called that computer line when we wasn't online, we already knew it was bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was home alone one time, and the phone rung, and I was like, okay. I was like, this is the city morgue. How can I direct your call? And the lady was like, yes, can I please speak to Deborah or something like that? I don't fucking know. Right. And I
Mhm.
was like, what's the toe tag number? I'll look it up. And she's like, toe tag number? I'm like, you call it a morgue, ma'am. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my. And just hung up. I
Listen,
fucked that lady up completely.
it almost reminds me of Crank Anchors. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, with the puppets and shit. Yeah, that's fucking
Uh-huh.
hilarious.
But yeah,
Scarred her
dude,
for
I
life.
totally fucked her day up completely. I guarantee you that she's like, this one time I called a morgue.
By
I'm just
accident, I was trying to get my local Girl Scout troop. Fucking
right.
them all. I'm back.
But going back to this whole fight thing, man, the Tyson fight, I felt going into it that it was going to be more of a publicity stunt to get Jake Paul over, and I
Mhm.
don't think I was wrong in that matter. But you know what? Here's the thing: I know to build the the luster of the show, and like you gotta act like you're the heel, and it's
Mhm.
almost like wrestling. You got the heel, you got the hero, and
Right.
you're just trying to put on a good show. And of course, when JP comes out, dude is getting all types of heat just like a fucking wrestler, and it was great, because
Mhm.
he's one of them kind of guys you just love to hate. You
Yeah,
don't really hate him, you just love to hate him,
because his favorite cologne is fucking water and vinegar.
right?
Because he smells like a fucking douche.
Right. And then of course when Tyson come out, everybody was cheering because they were, it's like nostalgia, because you
Mhm.
just really wanted to
Yeah.
see it. But you watch all the Tyson training videos and stuff, you're like, this motherfucker is going to rip him to shreds. And I honestly think he could have.
Yeah, he's gonna murder him.
But I do know that, you know, Jake Paul, Tyson, they got really close, like
Mhm.
really good friends and stuff like that. Like they were on talk shows and shit. They were literally really good friends. And I honestly think Tyson went out there to kind of push him over the edge.
Right. I mean, so I don't really know, like, a lot about the Paul brothers. I know one's in the WWE and there's this twat doing whatever he's doing. It's all about making money for these people. And Joe Rogan says it best when it comes to Jake Paul. He has people believing, and I'm not saying the people that he's fighting, I'm saying the people that watch his fights. He has these people believing that he's just an influencer and he's actually a really good boxer.
Dude, both of the brothers are really, really fucking good.
Well, yeah, they're both athletic. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but I have seen like bits and pieces of some of his Logan Paul, I guess is his name.
Yeah, Logan.
I've seen he's a very athletic guy. I mean, but and I'm not trying to diminish what he's done in WWE, but then again, I haven't seen much of it. But he is being personally trained by Shawn Michaels.
And you know what? If you could afford to pay for that kind of training,
No, it's. I
there's
mean, it's
nothing wrong with that.
no, he's not. I mean, it's part of his. I mean, because they want him to do well because he's a big name and he brings fresh eyes to the product.
Right.
So they have him training with arguably what most wrestlers consider the best wrestler of all time, training him.
Right, and, and
So yeah.
and some of these wrestlers have actually come out and like spoken
Hmm.
great new things for him and said, "Look, he's come in and he's learned the business. He's put in a lot of homework and he's done a really good job. And when
Hmm.
you get in the ring with him, you're going to be safe because the first thing is, you want to always have your people safe."
Well, yeah, that's the first rule of wrestling is always keep your opponent safe.
Right, right.
So yeah, but I mean, good for them. I know you said Jake got what 40 million, Tyson got 20 million, something like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, good for them. Yeah, they made some cash, and
They made
I
some
know
good
Tyson
money. There
could.
was a lot of people there that night, and
Hmm.
it seemed to be a good thing. Now, I would have been more pissed at watching this fight and, just kind of more disappointed. Honestly, I really wish that Tyson wouldn't have went out there the way he looked,
Right.
because that really didn't do him any good.
Hmm.
But I think honestly, he just wanted to get out there one last time, and he just kind of wanted to push JP over. Now, there's a statement that Mike Tyson had on X, and I don't know if this is true, but this is what seems to be is out there right now. So if I misspeak, then unfortunately, this is the information I'm getting. So from X, Tyson writes, This is one of those situations where you lost, but you still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time.
Mhm.
I almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight and get healthy to fight, so I won.
Mm.
To have my children see me stand toe to toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboys stadium is an experience that no man has a right to ask for. Thank you. And he has prayer sign
Hands or whatever,
hands,
yeah.
yeah. So I say good for him. At his age, if he's 58, I believe that's what I've heard some people say 54, 58. I don't know what he is.
He's 58 because he's just shy of 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. For him to look as good as he fucking does, not have the old man boobs and shit like that, the old
Mhm.
saggy, wrinkly fucking old man tits and shit like that,
Mhm.
he's in great shape, dude, for his age. And
Well,
for
yeah.
him to like, if that right there is the truth, then fuck yeah, I am
Yeah.
so super proud for the guy, and I couldn't ask for anything better because
Mhm.
I had some memories shoot over me last night that was like stuff that I was sharing with my brother.
Mhm.
I'll share this one real quick. My my dad, back when we were kids, we were watching this Tyson fight. We ordered a pay-per-view, and I think it was like $30 back in the day or something like that.
Mhm.
So we were watching this pay-per-view. Tyson knocks dude out in literally like the first round.
Right.
My dad was so fucking pissed. He's like, I'll
Yeah.
never ever do another pay-per-view of Tyson ever again.
Yeah, that was a big thing back in the day. Like, you would because most of his fights didn't make it. If you made it past the first round with like in his prime Mike Tyson, you were doing something right. And so people would go there. But imagine how the people that paid for ringside seats for that shit.
Hmm.
You're not gonna get a barn burner. You're gonna get a fucking you know what is it called, a scrub match.
Right,
and
right.
and it's just because he was unstoppable back then because he had all that drive.
Well, he was like the youngest world champion ever, or
Hmm.
heavyweight champion.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that he held all titles in the heavyweight class at one point in time. So he was and that means like so boxing has 37,000 fucking titles. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he had all of them for his particular weight class. So and he was obviously doing something right.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's the fight in a nutshell. I want to really say that the women's fight was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The lady who lost, which shouldn't have lost, like her face looked like a slab of meat, dude. Like it was literally busted open, like so wide. Like I was surprised that her fucking eye didn't fall out because the way that her eyebrow area was like literally just hanging open. It was literally about an inch wide,
Yeah.
dude. It needs that right there needs some attention.
Pretty nasty cut, if you will.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have like butterfly stitches or something out there to keep her from like fucking gaping wide open, dude. I swear to God, dude, you could have parked a bus in that cut,
What she does in her personal life. I'm sorry.
right? But that other girl, she fought dirty as shit. I didn't
Hmm.
appreciate her boxing style because she basically always leads with her head.
Hmm.
And apparently she has a history of busting people open with her head, but she was literally going after that girl with her head several times, and the ref caught her and
Hmm.
penalized her 1 point, live on air. So
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's I mean, that's the problem with some of these referees is they get. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about boxing to really say too much, but
me either.
like when Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fought,
Mm,
um, the parallels between the Tyson fight last night and this one are, it's just a huge money fight, and it got the publicity it needed, but there was no way in hell that McGregor was going to win that fight unless he knocked him out.
right,
So
right.
that's kind of how I feel that I feel there's been a few athletes in the combat sports world that have had people fed to them. I think if I'm being honest, I want to say Ronda Rousey had a few people fed to her.
Hmm.
Um, Floyd Mayweather, and a few others. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we all know that the world of boxing is incredibly corrupt, but that's a whole different episode.
Right. Well, there's one other thing that kind of was very distasteful, and I felt it was very distasteful. That happened last night. They had Evander Holyfield out there talking amongst the panel of talkers, and I thought it was very distasteful that they kept joking about his fucking bit ear. I'm like, dude, I would
Yeah,
have been throwing some fists.
that's kind of a well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a dick move. Why would they, you
They were
know,
just trying to be cute and say something, but the guy that, I don't know if a lot of people know this, like Tyson was in a fight a long time ago, and he literally
took a
was
chunk out of Evander
fighting,
Holyfield's ear? Yeah.
literally took that big old chunk out of him. But and I think that made the match uh, he got
It's
disqualified from the match or something like
yeah,
that.
he was I want to say yeah, cuz when he had started like nibbling on it when he started losing the fight. He took a small bite. Holyfield said he's fucking biting me or whatever. And then he did like a little bit more time went on, and as he got more and more like deeper losing points, he just they got clinched up, and he you see him just like he bit into a fucking
Yeah.
hamburger,
Hmm.
and then he spit it out, and it was a good chunk of that dude's ear, and that's like that's not cool to I mean it's been 30 years ago now or whatever it's been, so
Yeah, it's been a while, but
but
it
still.
happened and it sucked. But last night Tyson was chewing on his left glove a lot, and I was thinking at first that it was like a mouthpiece issue. But the thing is every time they showed them trying to dig his mouthpiece out, it was wedged up in his mouth, and they really had to like get it out of there.
Well, that's the way that they usually do. So those, for people that don't know, because I did competitive martial arts as a kid, like in my teens and stuff.
Hmm.
Mouth guards are not to keep your teeth from getting knocked out; they're to keep you from swallowing them.
Yeah,
So, and that's so, and they're in there real tight. They're
it's also
it's
to
a
keep your teeth from like busting together.
and that too, but it's mostly from what I my limited knowledge on it is it's just to keep you from swallowing your molars.
Right. But yeah, he just kept biting his fucking glove and shit. So they asked him like they wonder why he was doing that. He's like, I don't know, it's just something I do.
There you go. Yeah, it's just it's probably a lot of nerves going on and and everything like that. So there's not exactly when you're going into a ring and your job is to beat somebody to a bloody pulp and their job is to beat you to a bloody pulp. I'm sure there's going to be some anxiety there.
A little bit. Especially that big of an audience, and he hasn't performed in years. I mean, it's almost been 20
Yeah.
years since he's been in the ring.
Oh no, he fought Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition match not that long ago.
Yeah. And they had him out there talking about the fight. It's like, look, yeah, Mike, it's been a while since Mike has fought, but, I was on the business end of those punches, and it wasn't that fun.
No, no, it
But,
was yeah, but well, I'm sure they're really they're both having fun on the way to the bank.
yeah,
So
and that's fine. I honestly, as I said, I honestly felt that if Mike really wanted to plow through him, he could have.
yeah,
Because the person that we saw in the training videos was not the person that we saw on the stage.
no,
You
you know,
know, it was
no,
not the same fucking person.
right.
And I mean, there's a couple times where they traded some blows and rung each other's bell,
Hmm.
but I don't think the goal was to fucking knock
Knock each other out.
somebody
It,
out.
it was it was like there was almost a common ground commitment to not really hurt each other.
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean, though there was probably some look, motherfucker, I got you on this one,
Hmm.
but there was no intent to kill because Tyson, I've seen it too many times. I used to follow him a lot when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and I loved watching Mike Tyson fight. But he, hmm, I didn't like seeing him go out like that. But I'm kind of glad that he got in the ring because it was something he wanted to do. And
Hmm.
hats off to him. And I guess that's wrong, and I have to leave it. I just
Yeah,
didn't like what I saw. But I also have to remember this isn't for me. This isn't
yeah.
for
No,
me.
it's
This is for
no,
him and to
right.
push, the young fella over, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So we're just
So
gonna have to let dying dogs lay.
that's right. God dang it! Just let Mr. Tyson take his $70 billion or whatever he's got and go out. I know the guy runs a fucking weed farm now, so he ain't hurting for cash.
No, he ain't. But that's on him. He got in the ring, and I don't know many people his age that got in the ring, so
Yeah,
he'll be laughing all the way to the bank, and so will JP, and I'll just have to let him live happily ever after.
there you go. So,
So, what
well,
about the Trump picks that's going on? What do you think of
well,
those?
funny thing you bring that up. All right, so the okay, there's the one Attorney General Matt Gates or ever how you say his name.
Yeah,
They're all Republicans and Democrats are shitting their pants over this guy already.
I love him. I love
I
him
mean,
so much.
he says, like I just watched a video on him talking about how he doesn't, no one wants to marry like a thumb. He's talking about like women that are bitching about, that want abortions are usually too ugly to fuck, is what he's
Hmm.
saying. So whatever. I mean, he speaks his mind, so good for him. But apparently, there was some allegations about him doing some inappropriate stuff with a kid. I don't know if it's true or if it's not or
Let me
whatever. But
explain what happened there.
okay, please do.
The other side tried to accuse him because he was basically coming against them in the House and Senate or whatever the fuck he was. I think he was in the House,
Yeah,
and he was really going against people in the House.
yeah.
And the other side created this fucking story that he had a 17-year-old girl that he was trafficking over the fucking line, the state lines, which is, if it was true, that it was a felony and he should have been in prison. But there were only allegations from the Democrat side.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, no police reports. There was no indictments. There was no fucking mugshots, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all bullshit to push a story that's untrue. And he's totally, you know, wiped the slate clean with that. So I'm sure that's on his mind. And I'm sure he's going to get to the bottom of what the fuck happened there.
Right. Well, I mean, and just a preference is all these people that are Trump's picks, his cabinet, they have to be confirmed.
Hmm.
It's not just because Trump said so. Now, I mean, it's probably not going to be too much of a wall of resistance because I think the Republicans have the House, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. They have the House, they have the Senate, and they have, of course, the executive.
Right. So no, I think there was like one person in the House that they're not um uh happy about him
Oh, it's the
being there.
Senate. It's the Senate Majority Leader. It's no longer Mitch McConnell. It's
It's his
his
underling.
last name is Thune.
Yeah, that guy. They're not super duper happy about him, but they'll probably get him to do what he needs to do to get everybody in, you know what I mean?
Well, he has no choice because the people have already spoken. It's either you do what we need to do to get past this shit. Now,
Mhm.
I don't want him to be pressured into doing shit just because we want him to do shit.
Right.
But he needs to be playing ball on our side. I know he wasn't always the biggest Trump supporter, and he had came out against the Jan 6 shit. Of course,
Mhm.
all that right there. He's a fucking original blue blood. These people that's in the Republican Party right now, especially the old guard, is what I'm going to call them.
Yeah.
They're the original blue bloods. Those are the ones that don't want anything to do with this new group coming in. They don't like change, and that's why they're not all together. If you notice the Democrat side, those guys are all together on the same page. That's why they stuck together like glue, and that's why they got so big and so powerful. It's because they all stuck together and they played the same game plan. The Republicans are a little bit scattered, and they need to pull their shit together.
Mhm.
And it's people like Elizabeth Warren and fucking Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, those old fucks like
Well,
that.
it's
They
the
need to
old
go
guard, man.
away.
Don't they call them neocons or some shit like that?
Yeah,
I don't know. But my point is that
rhinos.
so yeah, just it's these old people that have only thing they care about is oil and war and all that shit.
Hmm.
So then he's got Marco Rubio as Secretary of State.
I don't.
Um,
I'll be honest with you. I don't like that pick because I don't like Marco Rubio for one fucking bit. I
I
just
don't.
don't care for him.
Right. The one that there's two that I'm super like excited about is Tulsi Gabbard and RFKJ because
Hmm.
I really want because I think RFK Jr. is incredibly passionate about health and getting us off of the crap that we've been eating for so long.
Yeah, that's
And
gonna be
because
a
I mean,
good thing.
let's dive into that for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Our food in this country is illegal in most European countries.
Yeah, well, the ingredients are.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like our bread will not sell over there because it's so full of crap.
Right. Yeah, it's the
And
ingredients that he's going after, and that's
right.
why he's wanting to get rid of that shit. And good for him because who knows? That's the shit that's probably causing all this goddamn cancer. And there's so many goddamn meds that we have to take. And if you take a medication, then you have to take another medication to fix
Mhm.
what that fucks up.
Exactly. I take one maintenance medication. It's a sartan. It's for my blood pressure because it's genetic. But anything else, I'm not taking it because I don't want. Like I saw my parents, and my mom still. She's on a plethora of medications, and it's all because pill pushing doctors. But yet again, that's a whole different fucking episode.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what he's gonna be doing because
Yeah,
um, he's gonna be taking basically all of the three-letter agencies like the
FDA,
FDA, the
hmm
it's what
the
is it?
National Institute of Health.
That's one of them.
Yeah,
There, the Department of Agriculture.
hmm
Uh, the what is that one? It's the CDC.
hmm And
The
isn't he talking about the ATF as well, or is that a different one? Is that somebody else?
ATF is a different guy. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be under the
Oh, that's going to be under Pete Hegseth or whatever his name is.
yeah, very well
Yeah.
may. And I think they're even talking about possibly disbanding it,
Yeah,
which
that's
would
what I
probably
heard.
be
And
good,
also, yeah, I mean, ask the people of Waco how they feel about the ATF.
right?
Anyways, the reason why I like Tulsi Gabbard is because she's a patriot. She's been to war. She's anti-war,
Hmm.
and she's and she's a good example of what the left does when you don't play ball.
Right, right.
But anyways,
Yeah, and like she was on the left.
she was, and she was a staunch Democrat, and we've talked about her before on the show that when she was in office or whatever here in the state, I want to say she was a senator or a
Hmm.
congressperson for Hawaii,
Yep.
and I told you, I said just a few episodes ago, it's she said on the Rogan Experience that the left would go left, the right would go right, and they were not allowed to talk to each other.
Right, right. And they were told basically, you are here to
Undermine,
staunchly oppose the other side.
yeah, and that's just ridiculous. And
Yep.
then you got the Secretary of Defense is going to be Pete Hegseth, which is he's a 20-year veteran of the military. I forget. I think he's Army. Special, yeah. And I think
Army
he's a great
National
pick.
Guard.
Yeah. He's a great pick. He's been to war. He's a Harvard and Princeton graduate.
And for some reason, they're shitting the bed over this guy. And like, when I say they are, it's the other side shitting the bed.
It's the left, like the View. Those fucking hags. Um,
Whatever.
they said that because he was he's a Fox News anchor on the weekend,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they totally gloss over his service record and his education, and he's kind of a smart dude. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
I think they were trying to act like he didn't have any fucking military experience, but out of all the old picks,
and that's exactly what old Whoopenstein was trying to do.
out of the picks that were defense secretary before,
Hmm.
some of the guys didn't even have fucking experience.
Right,
Not any boot on the ground experience being in the military at all.
right.
Period.
Exactly. So, but we'll see how he does. But I know that he was on another podcast. I forget which one it was. He was saying that all these DIE and all this indoctrination has got to go. So hopefully
Good.
that'll change. And and it's not just in the units and things like that. It's the instructors who make the curriculum and all that.
Right. And you got Christy Nome. She's the Homeland Security Secretary, and
Hmm.
I think she's got a good idea there. I mean, she seems to be very smart. She used to be the South Dakota governor,
Hmm. Yeah. But
or at least she still is. Maybe I think.
the one that I'm super interested in seeing is Thomas Homan, the
Oh,
border czar guy. Jesus Christ, dude! Talking that guy is a broadsword. He's not a scalpel at all. When
right.
he was given
Yeah.
when he took a bite out of AOC's ass, that was fucking great.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Yeah,
And I tell you, he is like the leading definition of the word yeet.
100%. Well, somebody asked him. they said, "Is there a way to not deport, to not separate families when you deport them?" He goes, "Yeah, you deport them all together."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeet.
it's like, listen, I think that we've made it abundantly clear on this show that we believe in immigration, but we believe in legal immigration. We're all for legal immigrants coming here,
Yep,
but you just got to
100%.
do it the right way.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Another pick is Interior Secretary, which is Doug Burgum.
yeah. I don't know that dude too much,
Um,
if I'm being honest.
I don't know much about him. North Dakota governor, apparently.
Yeah.
Uh, he was an ally. I think he has ties to the oil and gas industry, so that's probably where
Mm-hmm.
um, he comes in. Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Don't know anything about
Uh-huh.
him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't really know anything about him either. The fact that Trump has reached across the aisle to get other people to help him
Hmm.
shows how much he's like grown and maybe learn from his past mistakes in his first term.
Right. And well, he's even
You know.
admitted that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing as far as governing anything. He had to go with what these people were telling him. And that's why a lot of
Mhm.
people end up getting fired because he noticed that these are the people that are fucking him over and he has to get rid of these people. But
Mhm.
as I said, like the last episode that we did, I'm really glad that things happened the way it did. Yeah, I was like one of these fucking crying ass liberals that was, whining in the street when my president didn't get picked. So I understand the butt hurt.
Mhm.
But it's just when there's literal cheating going on and you see the cheating, then you have a reason to get butt hurt. But there was no cheating this
Right.
last time, far as like it was just way too many people getting tired of the bullshit and they were catching all the I'm not gonna say there was no cheating, but there was people that
Mhm.
was actually catching the cheating and turning them in and correcting the bullshit before it happened because they didn't want
Mhm.
another election like we had last time. And hopefully, this
Right.
presidency, we clean all that election bullshit up. Because honestly, what they're doing right now is nonsense. There's still people that are still counting right now.
Which doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Fucking
I
count.
can't.
You got these goddamn
That's
machines.
one,
Count the motherfucker.
2, 3. It's not hard. It hasn't changed since
You
the
know what it
beginning of
is?
the
I bet
shit.
you got these old fuckers that are like, yeah, 1 and 2, and
You got
my
Joe
phone just
Biden's
rang. What the
daddy.
fuck? Where? Oh shit! Where was I at? Oh god damn it! 1, 2, just fucking hell.
Earthel, give me a goddamn. Sorry.
I think I just shit my pants.
Again.
God damn it!
It's been 5 minutes. No, anyway. So no, but the one that I'm really like super, and besides the RFK and Gabbard thing, is the Department of
Oh
Doge.
man, I was just about
Like
to
it
bring that up. Oh my god, I'm super
fucking
excited over this shit.
yeah, because I mean, just the shit that we were talking about during show prep today
Yeah.
was like this is the hamster fight club portion of the show, folks. So I mean, it's just like somebody had gone through um, a list of all the ridiculous things that we spend money on in this country, and one of them happened to be drag shows for Ecuador,
Mm-hmm.
and then another one was if helmets and seat belts were good, or were good for Guyana, apparently.
Oh yeah, and then another study was, and this is the funny one. They
Mm-hmm.
were cranking these fucking hamsters up with
Steroids.
fucking steroids to see if they would fight more. I'm like, at what point is any of this shit valuable? You know what I think it is? They bought shit.
Just to see if they could fucking do it.
Well, possibly, but what I think too is they allocated money
Mm-hmm.
for a project.
Right.
And they had to dress it up to where Congress wouldn't be like, fuck no. Or it could have been buried in some of that shit that's in those like bills that get passed overnight or built overnight that's like 9,000 pages long and you can't,
Just
read
full
through
of
it in
pork.
no time. And I
Yeah.
think they
So
really need
fucking
to do something with
Obamacare,
that right there
basically.
too.
Right. Yeah. It's just. I mean, I understand that we have a need for scientific research, but I
Yeah,
mean,
there's some pork we could cut
butterflies.
out. But I honestly think
I
this is what
mean,
happened, though, to be honest with you. So it was passed in one of those fucking fluff bills that, is worthless as shit. But they say this money is being allocated for this, but it's actually being pulled and allocated for something else, right? It's just
Right.
that's just what they claim that that was for, and they probably had some
Yeah.
documentation stating that this is what it's for. But in all honestly, we know it's not going to that bullshit. It's going over here to something else that's going to be like a dark program or something like that that they don't even want.
Mhm.
And just seeing what they're going to be able to take care of in the next 2 years is going to be wonderful. And now that we have this wonderful tool known as X, it's going to be like just blasting the shit out of everything that they find and
Mhm.
reporting back to the people. Oh man, my eyes are so peeled on this shit. I am so
Yeah,
excited.
I can't wait to see, like, what's gonna happen with it, and hopefully it'll help, get some relief to things that we actually need, like, maybe building an assisted living facility for veterans or
Yeah,
something, I mean, anything's possible with that kind of money.
right. Not one goddamn dime of our money should be spent on one illegal immigrant as long as there's a homeless vet out there. Period.
No, yeah, I mean, I think anybody with a reasonable brain in their head could say that,
Because
or would agree with that
right,
statement.
it's just like we have to take care of our own. We have to take care of our
Mhm.
own. And if we can't do that, then there's no sense in doing this at all.
Right, exactly.
To me, it kind of feels like that this right here is going to be the first time in ever that we're going to actually see a change, and a lot of this fluff is going to go away because we can't continue to spend money like we're doing right now because we're just printing
No,
this
we
shit
can't.
and it's not backed by anything. We need to get back on the gold reserve. you know the dollar is
Mhm.
just fucking worthless and people know it is, and that's why they're pulling away, and that's why a lot of the world's gold is being balled up right now.
Right. I'm not a big guy on, global economics, we'll just put it that
Hmm.
way. But I know that there's some places that do better than us and some that don't. So, I mean, that's the ebb and flow of that kind of thing. But I mean, I'm hoping that whatever, if these guys get, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little worried about Attorney General Matt Gates or whatever his name is. Just, some of the things that he says, it's a little bit too much. I think, it's funny to watch because it's like, it's shocking, but attorney general is a fairly powerful position, any public office like that should be held with, I mean, I don't want to say, there's just should be a certain bit, like, maybe hold back a little bit, you know.
And this is just my 2 cents of it. The shit show that's up there right now needs to stop,
Is it?
and I think Matt
Yeah,
is the guy that has the balls to stop it.
maybe, yeah. And I didn't know he was a Florida guy, but
Yep,
anyways.
absolutely. Now, what about this? The
Hmm.
misogynist that Trump is,
Hmm.
laugh. The chief of staff is a
Hmm.
female. The
Dun
first
dun
time ever.
dun.
The first woman
Right,
to become the chief of
chief of staff.
staff.
I mean, I personally think it's a diversity hire, but
It, well,
I'm kidding.
I would say if Trump was putting her up there, she's a tough lady,
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously not going to take any bullshit if Trump's got her up there because he's a no nonsense kind of guy.
right? And he puts only strong,
So,
powerful people in positions of power. Because I
hmm
think after this last election, or the second to last election where he actually lost, he took that shit
hmm
personally. He went back to Mar-a-Lago. He made the offices of the president of the United States in his personal
hmm
residence. He studied his last election, or his first election, and his entire first term.
hmm
He figured out where he fucked up, and then he watched all the people that's coming out against him, and he
hmm
took notes like a motherfucker. Now, like it or not, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It happened. This is the way it happened, and if you don't like it, sorry for you. It's
hmm
just Trump got in there. Everybody was trying to be against Trump. He was the underdog. They didn't want Trump in there because they knew they couldn't buy him. That's why they come up
hmm
out against him. And every time they try to come out against somebody, they follow the playbook. The first thing they do, sexual harassment, any kind of sexual predator bullshit that they could pull out on you, they'll do it. If that ain't
hmm
right, then they'll try to do the whole, you know, whatever it's going to be. They'll try to sue you on something, then they'll try to put you in the jail. And then if they can't get that, they'll just kill your ass. And they
Yeah.
knew if they tried killing Trump at the very beginning, then what was going to happen was it would cause a revolt.
Mhm.
Then they got so goddamn desperate, they got this one dude to go up there and try to do it. And he's the one that got the closest. But luckily, liberals so far are not very good at guns,
Mhm.
at least the ones that they've had against
Well,
them. Or it could have been some kind of divine intervention or something like that. Well, I don't know. But
uh,
that first one was a little scary, got a little too close for comfort.
yeah, I mean, well, I think we, at some point in time, we need to do an episode on the disenfranchised that these people tap to do these things.
Hmm.
Like, and I think because it only usually, I mean, mass shootings are terrible. We can all agree on that. But
Right.
like I said, that's a different thing. But, I mean, and anybody that shot a gun, especially an AR-15 or anything like a long gun, a 150-yard shot should be a chip shot.
Right. Well, and supposedly this dude was like firing at him without a scope.
It's not that far.
He was doing it with iron sights from under, or not really an iron sight, but it like a red dot. And at the distance that
Yeah,
Trump was away from him, the red dot would have been right over his entire head. So it would have got him.
yeah. He should have, but I mean, so it's either he was an idiot or you can wax philosophical about all this different shit, and it's
Well,
anything's fucking
there's some
possible.
crazy shit about that first shooter. That dude right
Hmm.
there, supposedly when they went into his house, it was scrubbed clean, like he was
Hmm.
fucking an asset,
Oh
and he
yeah,
had like fucking
like there's
four.
no
Yeah,
silverware.
yeah,
Yeah.
no trash, no silverware, no nothing, and like there's a lot of people that find that shit really weird. So, uh,
Well, it's definitely
yeah,
suspicious,
there's a lot of
and
suspicion along that one right there,
yeah.
and
So it's
something I
raises a
found kind
couple
of
flags.
suspicious between the two quote unquote shooters, one being the shooter and one being an almost shooter.
Hmm.
This is the guy that was like over there hiding in the brush line at Mar-a-Lago and was about to take some pop shots at Trump, but the Secret Service guy saw a glint of a firearm or something like that,
Of a
and
scope or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But both of these gentlemen were actually in BlackRock commercials.
Yeah.
The kid was in the fucking classroom, and he was in like one of these fucking Ukraine videos.
I do believe that sometimes some things can just be coincidental because I think you and I had the conversation when that came out. It was very much a that they may have just used it for, and I'm not defending this dipshit. Let's get that straight. But what I will tell you is, I think that, as you and I know, is because we're partners in a production company, and we have looked at production costs.
Hmm.
They are astronomical.
Yep.
So maybe it was because it's not like these people have to really like speak or act. It's just to be in the background, and that's just really what it was. He was in the commercial for BlackRock, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. It could have been just a budgetary thing. The other one I didn't know about, so I don't have a comment on. But I just want to say that there could be more to it than I tend to agree with what you're saying, that there may be some nefarious things there, or maybe there isn't. It's just coincidence.
Right. And BlackRock is like a very confusing, to me, confusing type of a
Hmm.
company. I don't know what all they do, but I know that people like Alex
Well.
Jones calls them out all the time.
Hmm.
And kind of want to segment to that Alex Jones thing now. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that, but you remember he got sued for like a cajillion dollars for
Yeah.
InfoWars and like for that
Yeah.
Sandy Hook shooting?
Right. Yeah.
Well, he filed for bankruptcy and put the whole thing up for
So.
sale.
Hmm.
Well, when the fucking sale started, I think there was a judge that was overseeing it, and the Onion was trying to buy it. And if anybody doesn't know what the Onion is, it's like a satire type thing, like
Yeah. It's a
old Star
parody
magazine and
news
shit like that.
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, shit like that. But what was going on behind the scenes that was dirty, supposedly? Now, this is according to Alex Jones. Take it or leave it.
Hmm.
That no matter how much money somebody would have put in on it, regardless if it would have been higher or lower or whatever, it was rejected and they were wanting the Onion to buy it. However, the Onion was talking about they're the ones that bought it. and they were the winners of the bid and all that right there. But then the judge found out that there was some nefarious shit going on and yanked it from them. And I don't know if it's gonna stay this way, but literally he's back on air right now under InfoWars, and I hope he's able to keep it because honestly, it seemed like that whole thing right there, everything from that fucking whacked out trial, which
Mhm.
honestly, I watched some of the trial and Alex was like really being a shit show right then because he was trying to act like he was retarded and didn't know what the fuck was going on. But he was also playing, you know, a victim, and also he was being a fucking actor. He
Mhm.
was acting like he was, you know, Alex Jones. This Alex Jones
Yeah.
is known for these kind of activities, right?
Right. Well, I mean, he's obviously a very impassioned person, but he also takes it a little too far from time to
Yeah, he
time.
he jumps some guns sometimes for sure.
He does. I mean, like gay frogs and all that shit.
Yeah,
But I mean, but then again, like, there's been more memes about us owing him an apology than him being
I'm
wrong.
just gonna
So,
say that he's been a lot more right than a lot of people. Now, granted, he's a smart
right.
motherfucker.
Mhm.
He just knows how to really crank it up.
Mhm.
I can almost guarantee you this guy is literally paranoid because of all the shit that's in his head right now. I'm surprised
Of
this motherfucker
course.
doesn't sleep with a fucking gun under the pillow, and he probably does.
Probably does.
But on top of all that right there, I also could think that the whole Infowars cell thing could be a fucking uh, a ruse as well, just to kind of get more money in.
Right.
I think he was just trying to
Yeah.
raise money to not go into bankruptcy, but I
Well,
don't know. It could be.
it could be the thing, like how sometimes it was like the GameStop thing, with the GameStop stock.
Talk to me
You know,
about it.
they you don't okay. So, anyways, they were going to short GameStop to get rid of it, and then it went through the roof. So it basically falsely inflated the stock price of GameStop.
Okay.
So it's that might be something along those lines of what he was trying to do.
It could very well have been, but I honestly
Yeah.
think it was too. It could have been real. All this shit could have been real. But
Hmm.
then again, I don't know because I try to follow Alex a little bit because it kind of fuels the show a little bit sometimes because I
Hmm.
get little bits and pieces of information and I could talk about it, right?
Right.
But on top of things like that too, it's like I do know that he has a show that's for like he calls it news, but just like the news that we watch right now, it's entertainment.
Hmm.
So I don't really know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, well, you just have to. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, you have the left, the right, and in my brain, you have the left, the right, and then you have the middle.
Mm,
So always pick it in the middle.
right,
Because I think that's going to be probably your baseline. So what you can't go one way too far. Too far one way.
right.
So, anyways,
One other thing that was in the news that I wanted to talk about was the congressional UAP hearing.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
briefly touch
So
on this, but I definitely want to cover UAPs and all this stuff in another topic down the road because there's a
right.
lot of stuff coming out that just needs a whole episode dedicated to itself. Again, I mean, I know we cover aliens a lot, but there's so many different topics of aliens that we could cover.
Hmm. So basically, what they're saying is they're confirming to not confirm to confirm there's aliens.
Pretty much. And the way I see it, all right, let me explain some of the people that I do know up there. One of them is a military guy, and he is like a captain of a ship or something like.
Oh no, he was. I know who you're talking about. He's the rear admiral. He's a retired rear admiral from the
Okay.
Navy.
Yeah. So I wasn't too
Yeah.
too wrong because I was listening to him talking and he was talking about that, he knows of shit that's going on, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another guy up there, Lou Elizondo, which I could take or leave this guy. Don't get me wrong. His name has
Hmm.
been in alien lore for a long time, right? And
Right.
I always get a little suspicious when they talk about their book.
Hmm.
You know, I understand books are big deals and shit like that, and you make money off of books. It makes you seem smarter if you wrote a book and all that right there. But still, books are for entertainment. Books are for sale, and a lot of people go on these fucking speaking tours for their books. So I always find book salesmen weird, and I always put them kind of like in, second in line compared to other people who are actually, real people.
Well, books are for entertainment and when you're not in college
Right. Now,
because
here's
those
the one
books
thing
suck.
I will say about all of this shit, whether book salesman or not,
Hmm.
it is illegal to lie to Congress people. They can lie to us, but we
Oh yeah,
can't lie to them. And
right.
so, what's going on here in this whole situation is they're saying again, there's alien shit going on or
Hmm.
non human intelligence, whatever that may be. Now, just to kind of preface any of this stuff right here, there's been like a 4chan conversation going on that's been kind of interesting, talking about underwater UAPs or these. Basically, it's ships underwater that build UAPs to go do mission based items. And those things are built to spec to go do whatever mission it needs to go do.
Hmm.
And supposedly the person on 4chan is a whistleblower that was in the program that's still kind of he's hiding, but yet he's like letting all of his stuff out because apparently this guy has like some kind of cancer or something and it's killing him.
Right.
So like what's the worst they could do to him? Kill him? I mean fuck. But I mean don't threaten me with a good time. Fuck you, go ahead.
Right.
No more pain pills or no more bullshit
Chemo or
cancer
any
eating
shit
my
like
ass
that.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like so this dude is coming out saying that these things are building craft to spec, but there's some things going on that kind of seem a little weird in that too, which is kind of iffy. But then again,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's realistic or not. So, but going back to the whole congressional hearing, they're saying that these craft exist. There's retrieval programs for these craft. We may have bodies. We may not have bodies. We may just have the craft. And apparently, there's a government retrieval program. And supposedly, the Gang of Eight needs to know about these things. And people have lied to the Gang of Eight. And for anybody that don't know what the Gang of Eight does, is basically it's like any kind of fucking, um, uh, any kind of like thing that we have going on for basically our military, any kind of covert programs or anything like that, they're supposed to know this shit. And
Hmm.
because one, they deal with the funding of it, they need to know what's going on. They need to make sure that we're safe. They need to make sure that these programs are not getting out in the open. So these are the things that they're like all about. Now, supposedly, when there was like some kind of congressional hearing or something like that, I don't know, or some closed door hearing, I don't fucking know. It was not reported to them and they lied to them about it. And
Hmm.
it's not reported to it, therefore it's illegal. And that's what these people are talking about in these right here. Now,
I know one of the guys was talking about how there was some documents that were like super heavily redacted.
yeah,
And it was like, what's the point of releasing it because it doesn't have any real information to glean off of it?
right. And it's also known too that in these documents or some of these things go into a bucket that can't be FOIA'd, which is Freedom of
Hmm.
Information Act.
Right.
So, and I understand there's some things that don't need to be FOIA'd, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we don't need to know everything, but I mean, I don't think us. I mean, as you and I both have said on this show before, individuals are smart, but mass people are kind of, dumb
Hmm.
at times. Some things need to be kept a little bit more of a secret than others. And it's also a national security
Right.
thing. But also, I do feel that, aliens, I don't know what, if they're out there, I mean, I'm a skeptic on it, but if they're out there, just let us know. It's like the Kennedy assassination shit.
Hmm.
Like, let us know because it's anybody that was involved with it is probably dead. It's been 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So anyways, but back to your point, it's just some things should and some things shouldn't be available for information.
Right, and especially you don't want your adversaries getting it. That's my main point behind
Exactly.
it. But I mean, these congressional hearings are almost kind of a waste of time. It's just something to feed the press something, and feed us
Hmm.
something. But it's like, if these things don't exist, why all the secrecy?
Hmm.
But it's also like one of those things. There's like this joke where
Hmm.
it's like, "Hey Phil,
Yeah.
if I snap my fingers, you're gonna, you know, be the guy that's or covering up that you're gay, and then snap my fingers, and you're gonna be like,
Wait a minute.
I'm not gay. Yeah, man,
You
whatever.
you could have led with something completely different than calling me
I
gay
mean,
right there.
I don't make the
Okay.
rules, man. Just stop being gay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, well, why are you gay?
I'm not gay. Sure.
I'm not gay. God damn it! I'm just
Right.
happy.
Well, that's kind of the same thing here.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like there's a lore to this shit. It's been out there for a long time. And there's
Hmm.
this whole story of government cover up, and it's very known that government's covered up this shit. There's a lot of things out there that's weird. We see shit that's weird that's flying in the air.
Hmm.
There's people that are like military people that are saying, "Hey, there's shit going on out there right now." So what the fuck?
Right. Hopefully, when January rolls around, then everybody can start making a little bit more money, and we can worry about some of this. Don't have to worry about so much inflation. We can start opening up the files on this kind of stuff,
Hmm.
and we can finally get the answers that we need. Because now the main reason is it'll shut all these people up, and they can get back to work.
Right.
Do you know, man, there's just aliens out there? Okay, they've admitted it. Now shut the fuck up about it. I mean, what are these nerds going to talk about?
Well, the next step is like we want to see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you need to?
Yeah, I mean, fuck, if it's out there, I want to see it.
Well, you do because you're a nerd.
Yep.
At least you admit it.
Yep. Before we get off here, I want to ask if people could, if you like our show, please share it with people. Let them know who we are and listen to our shenanigans.
Yeah, because we want to keep doing it. Well, we'll always do the show for the most part, but it's just we want to make it grow and we want to reach a wider audience.
Absolutely.
So,
So,
but
and speaking of a wider audience, where can they find us, Phil?
YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, Truth Social, your mama's house, and that's it.
All right.
As always, follow the questions.
Find the truth.